Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tell me, have you been ever victimized by your own mind? Overthinking. Sometimes, meron tayong sariling narrative sa mind natin ng mga mangyayari. May sinabi yung isang tao, may sasabihin ka, may situations. Pero lahat lang yon nasa mind mo pa lang. The worst part is, affected na talaga yung emotions. Affected na rin talaga yung mga magiging decision makings. Pero in reality, hindi lahat totoo yun. It's just in the mind. So, ganun ka-powerful yung uncontrolled mind. And as practicing Bhakti Yogi, we want to be much more in tune sa mind natin. Ang gusto nga natin, makontrol natin yung mind natin kasi the mind is so flickering, restless, and pwede niya tayong ipahamak. Perfect example is overthinking. Previous verses natin, we discuss about different kinds of karma. So we have the karma, vikarma, and akarma. And as Krishna was suggesting kay Arjuna, the best part ng karma is yung doing everything, all the activities for the pleasure as an offering kay Krishna. In that way, since si Krishna hindi subjected ng material nature, hindi siya subjected ng karma, we will not also be subjected ng karma. So yun yung gusto natin mangyari. It doesn't mean we have to stop everything, but we just have to offer everything. We just have to sacrifice. So that is the sacrifice and ay yung di-discuss din natin ngayon. Ano ba yung mga sacrifices na pwede natin magawa in accordance sa spiritual life sa Bhakti Yoga? Let's read sa Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 4, verse 26. Some, the unadulterated brahmacharis, sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of mental control. And others, the regulated householders, sacrifice the objects of the senses in the fire of the senses. So as practicing brahmachari, ito yung pwede nating ma-offer sa ibang Bhakti Yoga practitioner. Ito yung focus din namin how to always make sure that the senses and the mind is under control. It's not easy kasi alam naman natin yung mga senses kumakawala sila. Affected by karmas, affected by hormones, affected by modes of nature. So, ito lang yung nagiging ito yung nagiging focus ng isang brahmachari. Compared sa householders, may mga fences or limitations, pero they are also able to and also allowed to deal with different senses kasi magagamit nila yon sa spiritual life and also fulfilling other desires. It doesn't mean na kapag householder na yung isang devotee or nasa bahay or may family siya, hindi na siya magkocontrol ng senses. Hindi totoo yun. Pwede ko na gawin to. Hindi na kailangan ng control. Kailangan ko na maging loose lang. No. Gradually, we still want to control the senses to control the mind. Otherwise, if the senses and the mind is not controlled, everything will be troublesome. Bakit? Kasi ipapahamak tayo ng mind. So, hindi lang siya nakasubject sa isang ashram, brahmacharis or sannyasis or grihastas or dun sa mga retired na. Sabi nga ni Krishna sa previous verses, he also made this path. Pero yung purpose ng path na yon is ma-perfect ng mga souls yung spiritual life nila. Iba-ibang path lang talaga. So, iba-ibang guidelines. But still, you have to protect and also provide and also guide each other. Like, yung mga householders, they guide yung mga renounced devotees para ma-perform nila yung duties nila, and yung mga renounced devotees para matulungan nila yung mga householders. So, meron siyang mm, nagko-cross yung services with each other. Ayun yung purpose nun. Kailangan magkaroon ng harmony. Hindi siya ibang mundo and iba na activities and wala na siyang connection. And ayun nga yung isang ideal sa isang householder. Meron siyang practice ng brahmachari life or monk life nung bata siya. Para pagdating niya sa householder life, mas control niya yung senses niya. Hindi siya yung kawala lang talaga. I think sa Thailand, ginagawa pa rin nila yun eh. For few months or few weeks, at least bago siya mag-enter dun sa adult life, magkaka-experience siya ng monk life. So kung hindi naman applicable yon since we started our spiritual life, nasa adulthood na tayo, hindi ibig sabihin na hindi mo na ipapractice yung mga pinapractice ng mga devotees na nasa renounced life. Much more, itong ina-advise ni Krishna, i-offer yung hearing process and yung sense control para makontrol din yung mind. Which is ginagawa natin and we really appreciate yung mga present ngayon or dong sa mga mag-catch up with the recordings. We want to always start our day hearing the words of Krishna. We always want to regulate our senses and control the mind. Going back to sa introduction natin, if this mind control is neglected, the mind will control us. Ganon siya ka-tricky. We'll get back into this controlling of the mind later on. Text 27. Others who are interested in achieving self-realization through control of the mind and senses offer the functions of all the senses and of the life breath as oblations into the fire of the controlled mind. Parallel sa study ng ating Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is also discussing yung ladder, yoga ladder. We discuss also yung karma kanda at yung gustong mangyari ni Arjuna. Pero ina-advise ni Krishna, hindi mo lang kailangan magawa ng mga activities and i-enjoy or suffer yung reactions nun. Merong tinatawag na karma yoga. So karma yoga is yung activities we're trying to connect kay Krishna as an offering, yung mga fruits na offer natin kay Krishna. Then now, we are discussing yung Jnana Yoga, how to understand this through the scriptures. Specifically through this verse, in-explain ni Krishna naman yung Ashtanga Yoga. So, may mga breathing exercises na dito. May mga offering of the breath and also trying to control the senses. So, nakita natin paano yung progress ng yoga ladder. Ang maganda doon, si Srila Prabhupada, what he is doing, every purport, binibigay niya yung conclusion. Kasi yung ibang bhaktas, yung ibang students, nalilito. Pagbasa ng verse, hindi nila nakikita yung buong context ng Bhagavad Gita, ng wisdom, ng lecture, or ng lesson. Nagka-focus lang sila dito. Uy, sabi ni Krishna, mag-focus lang ako sa breathing exercises. Doon na ma-perfect in life. I've heard this even devotees living in the temple. Ito yung nakafocus lang nila. May mga tao kasi talagang ganon. You just want to focus on the things that you want to hear or you want to learn. Hindi mo nakikita yung buong context na tinuturo mismo ni Krishna or ng devotees. So si Prabhupada na-explain niya dito. So this breathing exercises na in-offer dito ni Krishna, in-explain niya how to control the mind. That is the part ng Ashtanga Yoga. Following the rules and regulations, controlling the senses, breathing or what we call the pranayama. In that way, makakatulong naman talaga yon. The question is, ano yung intention and ano yung focus ng isang spiritual person? Nandito lang ba sa breathing exercises or postures or ang goal niya is bhakti? Anyway, kaya nga siya ladder. Kahit puntahan ng isang tao, ma-perfect niya yun, akit pa rin siya sa next step. So it was explained here sa Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. Si Patanjali is also an empowered incarnation. And ang offering dito is detachment. Kasi if one is attached sa sense objects or sense enjoyment, ito yung magiging entanglement. So bakit ginagawa talaga yung Ashtanga Yoga or Hatha Yoga is to practice detachment. Detachment sa senses, sa object of the senses. And gradually learn how to control the senses. Kasama na dun yung breathing exercises. If that is the case, pag nagawa na maayos yun, yung mind will be controlled. Mind you, hindi siya madali, hindi rin siya mabilis. It will take lifetime or lifetimes. So it was explained also kasi may different types of airs sa loob ng body. And kaya sila nagpa-perform ng breathing exercises is to control that air. Diba minsan yung joke nga nila or yung terms kapag nagkaroon ng mental problem, yung isang tao, sinasabi ng mga tao, nahanginan yung utak. Lately ko lang na-connect yun. Hindi ko lang po talagang may meaning sila bakit sinasabi ng mga tao yon. Pero lately ko lang na-connect, nga no, if there's disturbance sa air, sa body, nagkakaroon ng disturbance din sa functions ng organs. Sa digestion, sa circulations ng blood, also siyempre sa mental platform. So may mga ganon. Kaya ang mga advice ng mga Ayurvedic doctors is ayusin yung diet, ayusin yung lifestyle, diba? More on root or grounding food, less yung mga airy food. Yung uncontrolled mind is sobrang air din yon, sobrang creative ng mind. Sabi nga nila, yung curse ng isang creative person is mag-overthink siya into very heavy imaginations. Kasi naging creative siya, ano dapat mangyari. May pinag-usapan na very simple conversation, tapos bibigyan ng maraming meaning. Walang masama rin naman talagang basahin between the lines yung mga situations kasi it's also a message. Pero to overthink about it, to be much more or sad or morose or even depressed about different situations or sometimes anxious sa mangyari in the future or overthink doon sa mga nangyari or pwedeng mangyari will be detrimental din sa atin. So, control of the mind is very important. 28. Having accepted strict vows, some become enlightened by sacrificing their possessions, and others by performing severe austerities, by practicing the yoga of eightfold mysticism, or by studying the Vedas to advance in transcendental knowledge. So yung yoga of eightfold mysticism, this is what we call Ashtanga Yoga. Ashta is 8, Anga is limbs. Kaya eightfold of mysticism. Ano kasi yung result ng practice talaga ng Ashtanga Yoga is mysticism. They will gain powers. So kaya yung ibang tao, sobrang gusto yung Ashtanga Yoga to gain powers. Siguro hindi pa sila naka-move on dun sa superhero syndrome. Superhero syndrome nung mga bata tayo, nanonood tayo ng mga Marvel or mga ibang superheroes. Kaya kahit adult na, ito pa rin yung attachment. Or kahit nag-practice ng spiritual life, ito yung gusto nila mangyari. To read the mind, gusto nila lang mag-teleport, magpunta sa ibang lugar by meditation. So, again, this is still in the material platform. May dagdag ka lang na skills and power para magawa yung mga yon. And malaking trap dito sa practice na to. Pwede siya maglaro sa false ego na ikaw yung pinakamagaling. Sabi nga ni Prabhupada, yung mga yogi na pumupunta, bumababa sa Himalayas, pupunta sa city para mag-perform ng mga yoga siddhi nila with an audience. Tapos may small donations or the fall downs. Kasi yung purpose bakit nila ginagawa yon is napakababaw. Bakit ginagawa ng isang yogi mag-control ng senses niya? Is for him to be able to focus on his meditation sa super soul, kay Krishna within. So, yun yung pinaka-purpose talaga, yung real purpose ng pag-practice ng yoga. So, if you want to read further, pwede yung aralin yung life ni Dhruva Maharaj. So, si Dhruva Maharaj nag-perform ng Ashtanga Yoga when he was 5 years old, for 6 months only. Pero na-disturb lahat because na-perfect ka naman talaga niya yung practice na yon. But this time, ang maganda kasi is nakamit siya ng spiritual master and nataniman siya ng bhakti seed. So, ito yung purpose ng spiritual master ng devotees, magtanim ng bhakti seed. Kasi pwede mag-perform ng Ashtanga Yoga, hindi lahat makaka-perfect nun. Minsan may kaaroon sila ng glimpse kay Krishna, tapos mawawala na. Kailangan pa rin nila magantay, or minsan talaga hindi nila makita si Krishna, kailangan talaga nila magantay na may devotee na mag-plant ng bhakti seed. Otherwise, it's still just learning different skills. Like learning an instrument, or learning martial arts, or learning different life skills sa buhay, like cooking. So, ganun din yung Ashtanga Yoga. Medyo ibang, elevated lang dun sa mga normal na ginagawa ng mga tao. And another thing na sinabi dito sa last lines of verse, by studying the Vedas to advance in transcendental knowledge. So, isang specific or significant line to, studying. Kaya Jnana Yoga. Studying. Pwedeng puro study lang din. Jnani. Pero pag kinulik si Krishna, magiging Jnana Yoga. So these are Ashtanga and Jnana Yoga sa ladder ng yoga. So kung mapansin nyo, bawat purport ni Prabhupada sabihin niya sa last line, Krishna consciousness, however, is different from this. It is because this is direct service of the Supreme Lord. Yung mga gusto ma-achieve ng mga nag-practice ng different kinds of yoga, mysticism, and others, pag nag-practice ka ng Krishna consciousness, hindi mo na kailangan daanan lahat ng numbers of years and numbers of lifetimes para ma-achieve yung control of the senses and control of the mind. Kasi, ayun na yung ginagawa ng isang bhakti yogi. And also, sabi rin sa scriptures, it's hard to know, of course, pero sabi scriptures, if one is practicing bhakti yoga, dinaanan na lahat sa previous lives natin yung ibang yoga steps na to. Or, sabi nga, if nagka-chant na ng Hare Krishna Maha Mantra yung isang devotee, naaral na niya lahat ng scriptures ng previous lives. But ultimately, what the fact is, na-receive din ng isang soul na yon yung seed of bhakti. I remember, one VBA devotee posted, meron siyang childhood pictures. May childhood pictures siyang pinost na mga bata pa sila, tapos may picture ni Radha and Krishna sa frame. Picture ni Krishna and Balaram sa frame doon sa tabi. Tapos yung mga devotees nagko-comment na, bata pa lang, meron ka na exposure kay Krishna. Tapos may nag-comment din doon, yung bata siya, nakikita niya yung same picture. And also, what's the plot twist nun? Ako din, nung bata ako, nakita ko na yung same picture na yon. So, I don't know if yung devotee yung nag-distribute ng painting na yun, nagbenta sa mga different places. Kaya nakita ng maraming bata. It's, planting the seed. So, we can practice all this hard and tough na mga yoga siddhis, yoga practice of siddhis, or learnings. Pero ultimately, pupunta pa rin siya sa bhakti. Yung iba, hindi na kailangan i-practice to kasi pag nabigyan sila ng bhakti seed, ng mercy, ng association ng devotees, automatic. Kaya tinatawag yung bhakti yoga na elevator. Kasi hindi mo na kailangan akit step by step. Fast track. Text 29. Still others who are inclined to the process of breath restraint to remain in trance. Practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming and the incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, stopping all breathing. Others, curtailing the eating process, offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice. So this is again focused on Ashtanga Yoga. So offering of the incoming breath to the outgoing breath and other vice versa. And ang goal nila is mapunta sila sa trance or what we call samadhi. So talagang out na sila doon sa body. Nagka-travel na sila. Sino yung sinesearch nila? It's either traveling without or within. Hinahanap nila si Krishna. And hindi pa nila alam kung sino talaga hinahanap nila. They want to learn. Sino ba yung sarili nila? Sino ba talaga yung makikita mo sa loob ng puso? So, pag nakita niyo yung, or pag nabasa niyo yung life ni Dhruva Maharaj, he was able to see the super soul, Lord Krishna from within, as in the form of Chirodakashayi Vishnu, or the super soul. The soul within. Again, si Srila Prabhupada explained in the last line sa or end ng page na to sa first paragraph. A Krishna conscious person, however, being always situated in transcendental loving service of the Lord, automatically becomes the controller of the senses. Paano nangyayari yon? Kasi we are trying to dovetail everything kay Krishna. The food that we eat, hindi mo na kailangan talaga mag-fast or magkaroon ng mga sacrifice, hindi ka kumain ng ilang araw, ng ilang linggo. Of course, devotees are advised to fast still sa mga ekadasis or mga appearance ni Krishna or in other forms of Lord Vishnu. Pag yung mga food na kinakain ng devotee na offer kay Krishna first, then it will become prasadam. Automatic. And if yung mga talents and skills natin, hindi natin kailangan bitawan. Kailangan natin i-dovetail kay Krishna. Even the money or all material assets, i-dovetail mo lang kay Krishna. Automatic, nagkakaroon na kagad ng detachment and control sa senses. That's the beauty ng Bhakti Yoga. And walang danger na pag natigil mo yon, back to zero ka. That's the risk sa practice ng Gyan or Ashtanga Yoga. Pag di na nakumpleto yung life nila as an Ashtanga Yogi, namatay sila, next life, malaki yung chance na back to zero. Bali wala yung pinaghirapan. Bata uli sila. Lalabas uli yung mga urges and mga hormones para maging mahirap kontrolin yung senses. Mag-aaral uli sila huminga kasi, of course, in the stages of fetus pa sila sa womb, may water doon sa loob ng placenta. So, paglabas nila, mag-aaral sila uli maghuminga. So, ito yung disadvantage. Advantage ng Bhakti Yoga is, next life, hinto ka lang 30% ng previous life. Next life, 31% yung kukontinue mo. One who engages in an unalloyed devotional service to the Lord transcends the modes of material nature and is immediately elevated to the spiritual platform. So, ayun yung advantage ng practice ng Bhakti Yoga. Kaya siya sa top ng ladder ng yoga ladder. Pero may pwedeng fast track. Or even, nasa start ka pa lang ng spiritual life mo, pwede mo na kagad i-practice yung Bhakti. That's the beauty of it. Ito yung binibigay ni Krishna kay Arjuna. So ito rin yung ine-emphasize ni Prabhupada, di mo kailangan maligaw dito sa mga in-explain ni Krishna. Kasi baka hindi mo basahin yung conclusion. Baka ito lang basahin mo tapos ito na i-practice mo. Di mo makita yung buong context. Si Krishna, sabihin naman niya in the succeeding verses, lahat ng in-explain ni Krishna kay Arjuna, lahat ng to mahirap, Arjuna. Gusto mo magpunta sa forest, i-practice mo to? No. Hindi guaranteed. And at the same time, kung ma-perfect mo yung ibang part ng yoga ladder, pupunta ka pa rin sa Bhakti. Bakit di mo napuntahan ngayon? Sasayangin mo yung oras, sasayangin mo yung energy, sasayangin mo yung pinaghirapan mo, tapos atras ka. Mag-downgrade ka. Text 30. All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions, and having tasted the nectar of the results of sacrifices, they advance toward the supreme eternal atmosphere. Prabhupada mentioned here the root cause. Sense gratification is the root cause of material existence. Because of uncontrolled senses, dadalhin tayo kung saan-saan. Like yung analogy natin dun sa chariot with 5 horses, with the driver, the rope, and yung passenger, which is the soul. If uncontrolled yung horses, if uncontrolled yung senses, kung saan tayo dadalhin sa material world, animal life, hellish life, heavenly planet, or a demigod, or a human being, or even a tree, paikot-ikot. So, uncontrolled senses. So, kailangan natin i-control yung senses natin. At the same time, while controlling the senses, mas makokontrol natin yon kapag controlled yung mind. So, ito yung advantage if one really is on top of what we are thinking. Di tayo nagpapadala sa mind, sa restless mind. Kasi, to be honest, pwede tayong dalhin din sa hindi magandang situation even in the practice of bhakti. The relationship with devotees. The relationship of gurus. In the part of the stages of bhakti, may tinatawag na anartha-nivritti or cleansing of the heart. And yung cleansing of the heart na yon, malaking part doon is mental platform. Inner battle. Patibayan, palakasan talaga ng mind. Kailangan mo talaga ng mental strength. Otherwise, tatalunin ka ng mind, kaka-overthink. Ang ganda ng discussion sa Srimad Bhagavatam in the temple. One devotee was sharing na every morning, ang technique para mas maging determined tayo sa spiritual life is always put in our minds na I'm ignorant. Hindi ko alam lahat. Kailangan mo itanim kagad sa mind yun. In that way, we will surrender kagad kay Krishna pag nag-chant tayo, pag nagbasa tayo, pag nakita natin devotees. Pag nakita natin yung Bhagavad Gita, nag-hear tayo ng words ni Krishna. Ito yung soil natin, very fertile. Pero kapag inisip natin yung mga sitwasyon palagi, paano ako naging tama sa mga situations before, this time, and in the future, magiging sarado. If we always think that we are right, then you're right. Hindi ka magiging wrong. The problem is if you're really correct with that kind of mindset. So yung danger ng overthinking is also detrimental sa spiritual life. Kasi yung isang quality na gusto natin i-develop as a practicing devotee is humility. Humility in terms of thinking we are servants of the servants of the servants of Krishna and we want to serve. Humility also in a term na we should not stop or shy away from service. It's not low self-esteem. So malaking difference nung yung low self-esteem sa humility. Actually, yung humble person, hindi siya nahihiya na gawin yung bagay na hindi siya magaling. For the sake of service, willing siya matuto, willing siyang matuto rin how to improve himself or accept yung dapat i-improve sa sarili niya. And hindi rin siya nag-shy away to step up kapag kailangan in terms of devotional service. So, ayun yung mga aspeto ng humility. And ayun din yung aspeto na nadi-destroy kapag nag-overthink tayo, creating our own narrative sa mind natin. Sabi nga, yung pinakamayaman yung mga nag-overthink. Kasi may sarili silang mundo. Good morning and thank you, my dear ones. That is our episode for today. Don't believe everything that you overthink. Totoo naman. Yung mga in-overthink natin ng mga scenario, hindi rin lumalabas talaga in real life. Except siguro kung may vision ka. Diba? Nag-deja vu ka. Nakikita mo yung nangyayari sa future. Pero wala tayo doon. We have to accept. We're very ignorant. We're very, you know, empty pa. We need to learn more. We should be humble enough to accept the fact that we are students of life, students of Bhakti. And we need the teacher to guide us. We need the guru and we need Krishna. So please continue to study the Bhagavad Gita, read the purports, and be present sa ating mga sangha.